Alright everyone, now that we've become familiar with the Pixellab interface to some extent, let's create a very simple identity flyer together step by step. So don't worry if you've never designed on Pixellab before, just follow along carefully. I just follow the steps and you'll get it. So the first thing we want to do is to create a clean square canvas. By default, we already have a square canvas here. This right here is the square canvas by default that Pixellab brings. So, but there's something I would like us to do. We'll be making a slight adjustment on this square canvas. So we click on the three dot button over here, the three dotted icon. And then we come over to image size. Yeah. When we click on it, by default this is the width Pixellab will bring for you to you. This is the aspect ratio and the width, but I would like us to increase the width to 2000 and also the height to 2000. It will still be in the square shaped size. That's the 1:1 ratio. So after we make it 2000, the reason why we're increasing it to 2000 is to make the image have better quality, like the image we're creating, to give it a better quality. So that's why we're using 2000. So then you click OK. So now the next step is to make sure our background is clean and simple. For this particular assignment, we'll be using any blue background at all. So first we select the background option over here. Right here, you click it, you select color. I have some blue gradient backgrounds I would like to use, but for beginners I will just make use of a plain blue background. So there are different ways to select backgrounds. By default, Pixellab has this set of backgrounds over here, so you can scroll down. You can scroll down and select any background, any blue background of your choice. So in this case, I'll be making use of this dark blue background. You just scroll down and then you see the default backgrounds and select any one you want, but it should be blue. So after we've selected that, next we have to work on our main text now. So the main text, you can either use your real name or your alias for the main text. So to achieve that, you can either click on this layer tool right here. You can click on it to select the text, or you can select it directly from the screen. So now there's a trick I want to show you on Pixellab. I know some of you might be wondering, if when you add multiple elements and then you are touching the screen, won't it affect, like you might want to touch one and then you touch the other? To avoid such mistakes, there's this lock icon on Pixellab. After I click on the layer icon, and then you select on the element you want to work on, this lock icon, after you've done what you want to do on it, you press it and the layer lock. So no matter how you touch that stuff, it won't move. So well, before we get into that, let's first edit the name. So I'll be putting my name. You can either use all capital letters or small letters, whichever way you want to do yours. So I'll be putting my name. Then before we proceed, we need to change the font. This font is not giving this professional vibe that we want it to give us. So then we will just have to scroll down. So you come down here, you scroll down till you see fonts. Now my version of Pixellab has a lot of fonts. It has over 50 fonts if I'm not mistaken, or more. So for the name text, we'll be using any basic fonts. Now Pixellab has basic fonts, it has serif fonts, it has Latin, different fonts for this my version. Even the blue Pixellab, it has these basic fonts too. It also has this, I think it has sans serif fonts too, and fancy fonts, non-Latin fonts. I don't know, it's been a while I used that, so I can't really say, but the basic fonts is also on the normal Pixellab. So you can choose any font of your choice from these basic fonts. So in my case, I'll be using this chunk 5. I'll be using the chunk 5 font for my name. So after we do that, we have to realign it, like place it properly, make it centralized. To do that, you click here. Sorry. You click on this arrow right here. Then when you press the middle one, it sets your text to the middle. Then when you press this middle one beneath, when you press this one too, it sets your text horizontally in the middle. This one sets your text vertically in the middle. Vertically to the middle, horizontally to the middle. This one right here, it sets your text right aligned. This one sets your text left aligned. This one sets your text to the top, like aligned at the top, and then the one down here sets your text aligned to the bottom. But here what we want to do is to set the text aligned to the middle. So we set it vertically aligned and then horizontally aligned at the middle. Next, let's add a subtitle now. So to add a subtitle, there are 2 ways to it. You first click any part of the design that isn't the text, like click it so the text is unselected. Then you click this layers button and then lock the text so it won't move while we're adding the other text. So as you can see, the text is not moving and I'm touching the screen, it's not moving because it has been locked over here. So now we add our subtitle text. To do that, you can either add it from here or from here. So let's make use of this one at the bottom here. So then click on it. See, it brings out this default fonts and text. Then click on the edit. So for the subtitle text, what we'll be writing is Mobile Design Pro Student. But in my case, as the tutor, I'll be writing Mobile Design Pro Tutor. But you guys have to write Mobile Design Pro Students in the subtitle text. So Mobile Design Pro Tutor. So after I don't know, different phones with different default fonts. So we'll be using another font from the Pixellab font collection instead of my phone's default font. So to do that, we go back to fonts. Let's use fonts still in the basic fonts, but a lighter one that isn't as thick as the chunk 5 that I used for the main text. So I think I'll go with ABZ regular. So once I've clicked my fonts, select OK. Then we align this one to the center. Align it this way. Align it. Now you see, as it's placed in the center, it's not visible because it's clashing with the other text. So we have to move it down. To do that, we'll use this icon right here, position icon. So when you click on it, you see it has, by default, it moves 10 steps. So we can increase it to move 35 steps or to move 20 steps. So let's use 35 steps and move it 3 times below. 1, 2, 3. That's after moving 3 times below, we reduce it to 10 and then move it 1 step below. No, 2 steps below. Good. So after we do that, we lock it. So now that we've locked it, I want these 2 texts now to be merged, to be aligned in the middle, not just the main text, like the 2 of them to be combined and aligned in the middle. To do that, you click on the layer again, the layer button. Then you select these 2 texts simultaneously. And some people have used Pixellab over time, and it even took me a while before I discovered this highlighting of 2 texts or 2 elements at the same time. So to do that, you come over here, this button right here, you click on it, and then you see these 2 checkboxes. Then select on the 2. So after selecting, we proceed to click on this button right here, and then press sorry, after clicking on it, you press this one to align it to the center. When you press it, click central vertical and then central horizontal. So now you see the two texts have been aligned to the middle, to the center. Now take note, for this default, for the subtitle text, I want us to use size 64. So after you press size 64, you align it vertically to the center. Don't align it horizontally to the center anymore once you increase the size. Then the main text, let's just leave it as size 190. Good. So now basically we're done. At this point we're done. We've done what needs to be done. So after you've done, you save it. You can save it as project. This will be your first project in Pixellab. So save as project. You can use any name you want to. My first Pixellab project. You can save it with whatever name you want to use to save it. After saving it as project, you then proceed to save it as an image. Now when saving as image, I don't advise you using this JPEG transparency format. This no. So you select this arrow over here and then select PNG. After selecting PNG, these dimensions, you select the arrow at these dimensions and select. You can use either ultra high, very high, or high. But me, I prefer using very high instead of ultra high for certain reasons. So after selecting it, you save to your gallery and we have our design. Now I want you guys to remember something. Good design most times is not always about adding too many effects. Sometimes simplicity just makes the most professional designs. Now once you're done with your own design, save your work and post it to the community group. You won't be posting it on the main group. There'll be a community group where you post all assignments. Now keep practicing, keep creating, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.